Hey y'all, Grown Black Folks Talk. Back out on the climb at the beautiful Lone Mountain campus of University of San Francisco. And this is just a small video. I'm very, very busy now with my family, but I still come out and do my walks in the morning. And sometimes I have enough time to sit and do a video. And I'm just before this fog comes back in, which is right out there. So we're going to do this very quickly. Sherrone Moore, ex-coach of a college in Michigan, is a wonderful reminder to black women to mind our own business in 2026. Listen, let me just give you the quick rundown on his whole situation and why we need to stop paying attention to men like him at all in 2026. They are going to run to their own destruction every time. It's not just that people can be with different races of people without hating their own. But the issue is, for 400 years, we have known that white men will find a way to destroy black men who play around with white women. If he'd stayed married to her, Sherrone Moore stayed married to his white wife and been okay with that and not had to go cheat around. Okay, well, let's do some review. Tiger Woods already did this. We have the details and the tapes of Martin Luther King and his whole legacy being attacked. We know what Coretta had to deal with him with his taste for 18-year-old white girls because he couldn't go any younger. And what Coretta Scott King suffered so that the movement wasn't damaged, but the FBI had the tapes. And if he had kept on, they would have just gone on and released those. You think Nixon's tapes were interesting? They've had that for years, such that I've heard this man talking about his preferences. So if you could think of Martin Luther King could be taken down, I don't know what Tiger Woods thought he was going to do, except he wasn't black and thought he would be immune. Well, Miss Eleanor Duren walked off with half to a third to half, took his kids and moved back to Norway. And he never recovered from that. Okay, so, you're not big as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You're not as big as Tiger Woods. I don't know what you thought you were doing. Kevin Samuels rolled through here and died with his preference. And it turned out she was post-wall and overweight by his standards too. Couldn't handle her for more than one day, died. And the saddest thing is she is on that 911 call. She doesn't know where he is. She doesn't know how to do CPR. He was dead the moment he touched her. And he had been warned that week and begged to come to Christ by a man who understood how he came to the position that he did with some compassion. He didn't have to die like that. That was his choice. Chasing after everything, spending all that time running down black women, died. And tell me why Anton Daniels, when he had his heart scare, survived because he listened to his black wife and daughter. But, both mediocre tutorials and reviews and a lead attorney, all walking around here talking about having cancer in the family jewels. Jonathan Majors had his moment, turned around and married Megan Good and got off the streets. Because he must have heard the Spirit tell him what the Spirit told Pastor McNeil to tell my whole congregation at El Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. You don't live to get old as a black man unless you know how to treat your blessing. If you don't know how to treat the black woman, you don't live to get old. Tell me why David Carroll and Patrice O'Neal didn't even live to see 50, while Kevin Samuels made it to only about 53. Jonathan Majors survived his foolery just barely. But then tell me why we got Shannon Sharp out here messing up $125 million worth of opportunity, acting a fool. And that just happened 2 minutes ago. So Sherrone Moore, allegedly, is going to be out here cheating on his white wife with another white woman who's an assistant. A workplace situation so she can sue everybody involved. And out here acting a fool, having some kind of fit, talking about he going to do some things to hurt himself and her. Lost everything. Never see a coaching job again. Nope. Ruined his whole life. These men, that's what they want, so let them have it. Mind your business, black women. Stop wasting your time. Now, I'm the author of Seizing the Crypto Bull Run for Financial Freedom. I successfully predicted, because I just looked at the cycle math, that the market would start its way up in 2024 in spring. It actually started a little bit earlier than we expected. And crash out in autumn of 2025. And this is autumn of 2025, and I'm telling you, it's stabilized on its way down, but I don't think we're going to see another all-time high. But there is another cycle out there. So this is what I want you to do. I'm not telling you that to stun on you. I'm glad for those of you who took advantage. I'm not telling you that to rub it in the face of those of you who didn't. I'm telling you this so that you can know what happens next. There's something called the global liquidity cycle. And if you look at how markets rise and fall, they kind of get in step with this. It's due to top out the global liquidity cycle. You can look this up. It's due to top out in the spring of 2026. When it rolls over, eventually all markets are going to roll over with it. Now that fog is arriving right on time to make this point. And when that rolls over, you think you are having trouble in the United States economy now. You think you are having trouble in the world economy right now. You're not. Global liquidity means money that's moving around the globe. If that starts to be shut down, then that's less money to go into all markets. So you think the economy is struggling now. You think jobs are scarce now. You think you're in trouble now. You're not. We're just starting. The other thing to look at is the Republicans are not done having this argument about wanting people to starve to death. They have another opportunity to provoke a whole situation where they get to cut the budget in January. And healthcare things, premiums are also going to be going up in January as well. So this whole thing is going to recur, this whole fight that we just had. I want you to know that the people who wrote Project 2025 and flipped it into Agenda 47 do not care if 16 million children starve. They do not care if 42 million people starve, because they have someone up there who allegedly said that it would be better for the United States to have a population of only 160 million people, meaning 180 million have to be disposed of. 42 million is only 1/4. They would have let the government stay shut down. You only can live 3 weeks without food. So to have their way, they are willing to let the entire society come apart so that they can then excuse the authoritarian things they want to do. Martial law, suspension of civil rights, all those things. They are willing to do this. Here's what I need you to do. Do your best to get out of debt. Do not take on any more for Christmas. And if you have anything to spare, learn about the global liquidity cycle and figure out what you're going to do in terms of short-term investments this winter. Now, I can't give you recommendations on all that because I'll be out of my lane. But may I recommend Black Girl Stocks? May I recommend Trade and Travel, Terry Egioma? And yes, you're going to pay plenty for Terry Egioma, but you can also do Black Girl Stocks. Learn what an option is. Learn what an option Greek is. Learn a few things. None of these are going to be easy waters to play in, so I'm saying to you, at the least, get out of debt. Don't add any more for Christmas. Whatever you do, just don't. Don't. Because we are about to go into hard times that we have not seen since at least 2008. If that cycle turns over, and the consequences from the foolery that people are doing. The world is out there making deals in terms of buying things that do not involve the very few things that the United States produces. It's about to get bad out here. You do not have time for the Sherrone Moors. And I'm just going to say this. For those of you, I have an overlapping algorithm with a lot of other content creators. If they are not providing you information that is going to help you make the best of your life, for yourself and your children, obviously black men influenced by the likes of men like Shannon Sharpe and Sherrone Moore are not even able to save themselves. I just did that whole rundown of people in desperate trouble and dying over their hatred of black women. They're not even able to save themselves, so don't waste your time. Don't waste your time looking at them, looking at their stories. I'm only mentioning Sherrone Moore because it's a good place for me to tell you, mind your business, stop taking on debt, get out of debt if you can. What I tell people is, look at your discretionary items, things that you don't need. Be honest with yourself. Get all the things that you need, the best you can, but cut down on your discretionary things. Redirect your time. Look at your discretionary time. Look at channels that can help you get somewhere. For those of you who are interested, even in a crypto bear market, there are still things you can do to increase your money using crypto. But there's no point in me putting this out to the general public because I know who bought the book and I know who did well and I know who has the book, and I've been to a point. I mean, I don't know what happened with every sale on Amazon, but I know that there are some people that really took advantage of it, doubled their money or more. But that opportunity is not going to come again, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything that can be done. But you have to begin to retrain your mind for the opportunities that are available. For those of you who make it solvent to next year, Just like the crypto market will bottom out and turn over, so will the global liquidity cycle, provided we do not wreck the entire planet. When folks get real upset in different countries, start throwing them nuclear weapons around. But there's not much chance of that happening, because that doesn't make money for anyone. That's messing up the whole global economy. So there will be an opportunity to recoup, but you've got to make it that long. And when you have to have your mind ready, folks literally had 2.5 years just from me a friend of mine and I sit around and talk about 200, what can you do with $20 a month? Well, anybody who listened to me back in 2023 could have made that $20 into $120. Anyone who didn't. Every day, opportunity just going by. And so many different spheres. But you have to train your mind. Now, that's a whole different video I'm going to do about the fact that I recently found out that Rich Dad is a woman. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad is actually a woman named Doria Cordova. And she's within grappling distance of the woman who predicted the last crypto bull run. That would be me. That's the kind of world of opportunity I live in. And because you have access to me, you only one step away. You just have to change who you listen to and who you act on. I'm not saying, I understand, looking at the mess helps us to feel better about our own situations. At least we're not that bad off. That's human nature. But I really need you to pay attention to the right thing. Sherrone Moore is only taking money out of his money, his wife's pocket, his wife's pocket, and his children's pocket. And I pray for them, especially them 3 beautiful daughters who will never understand why their father betrayed their mom. They're 3 beautiful black biracial daughters who will now be turned off on black men forever. But if you know your mathematics, white people being interested in black people is picking up genetic diversity. This isn't every individual case. But now those those biracial daughters will probably go with white men. And eventually 2, 3, 4, 5 generations down, that will strengthen the European genetic code by that admixture of stronger, less inbred genes in the attempt to stay white. There is a reason that interracial relationships are being pushed right now, and it's not for the good of black people. That's not every individual case. But people looking at love and marriage as showing that they are somebody and moving up in the world and all the rest, there's no good. When you start from a bad motive, when you start from a motive that is not a love motive, people use you and discard you when they're ready. Stop giving these kinds of people your attention. I'm going to need us as black women in 2026 to stop wasting time looking at these men, focusing on these men, worried about these men, trying to catch men, trying to convince people that don't want to be convinced and want to be destroyed that black women are this and that. I just need you to stop wasting your time in 2026. Just stop. Focus on yourself. Hard times are coming. Good times may come after that. But in Nazi Germany, if I had sat up in, let's say, 1932 and made this video, good times were not going to be coming for decades. In the United States, I don't know, but it is theoretically possible. So you're going to need to hone your ability to catch opportunities to survive if things get as bad as they could. But even if they don't, it can get as bad as it can be. There are people going through flooding and all these things. It can catch you on any day. So I need you to not pay attention to fools and their folly, and redirect your attention to getting yourself ready and your family ready for the times that are coming up in 2026. We're not talking about down the road and around the corner. No, we're not. Don't go into debt buying Christmas presents. Get out of all the debt you can. Just those 2 things. When we get closer to everything happening and everybody's panicking, I'll have more to say then, just from what I observe. I'm not a financial advisor. I just observe what's going on in the markets. All right. Y'all have a good day now. Goodbye.